These are my first 2 cucumbers of the season, and I wasn't sure, I am not sure how big they're supposed to get. These are just labeled F1 cucumber, F1 hybrids. I think this is a good size. Maybe this one is a little bit too early, but this is my first harvest. Isn't it awesome? This morning is one of those weird June mornings where you wake up and it's 60 degrees outside, and I am freezing. In that kind of weather, I am freezing. So that's what I'm wearing, my long cover, my blanket, as my husband calls it. But I am going to be removing these sugar snappies. They are going along this, the back of these raised bed made out of corten steel containers. These are the newest corten steel planters that I installed. That's why they look somewhat bluish, and they're just getting their patina going right now. But these sugar snap peas plants are definitely done. They slow down in production, so I am just going to remove them because I went to Menards this morning and I grabbed a few things that I have to put in there. So that's what we're going to do today. But I am going to plant a bunch of cilantro there. And cilantro is one of those herbs that for me, it never stops going. I start a bunch of cilantro, I just throw a bunch of seeds, or sometimes I just go and grab some seedlings at the store early in the spring. I put them in the ground, and then I just continue planting cilantro because it goes to bolt really easily after it starts getting warm. So by the time that one of them, like the one that I'm about to show you, by the time that it starts going to flower, the pollinators love that plant. I let it be, but I also have other plants. I have one in my green stack, I have some in my raised beds, and I'm getting ready to plant some more. So I always have a continuance of cilantro going in the garden. There is a lot of construction going on right now in my house, not garden related, so if you see stacks of lumber here and there, that's the reason why. But this right here is one cilantro plant, one lonely cilantro plant that it's actually a volunteer. It decided to grow right there on this raised bed that I have here on the back of the kitchen garden, and I am okay with all of the cilantro volunteers. If they come up in areas where I already have a plant going, then I am going to remove them. I can transplant them sometimes. I have found that transplanting cilantro volunteers is it's kind of risky because not a lot of them make it, but this guy right here is just beautiful. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but I mean, all kinds of pollinators are just loving this plant. I posted on my Instagram story a reel about the cilantro plant, and some of you wonder if this was a climbing cilantro plant. This is not climbing. It is really just one cilantro plant that decided to fall over because it was just too heavy. And as it was flowering, it just started to grow up towards the sky, and it's just this glorious plant right now. And it started going to seed, and once I have a bunch of these seeds ready to be harvested, the seeds that is, I'm just going to grab them and I'm going to shake them right here, because next year if I have a bunch of volunteers here on this bed, then I'm just going to let them be. On this bed right here, if you notice, I have one tiny cilantro plant right there. It's starting to wanting to go to flower, and I mean I can still harvest a bunch of cilantro from this guy, and that's what I'm going to do because it has plenty of branches that are perfect for cooking. And it's going to start pretty soon to go to flower, and that's fine. I am planting more cilantro today, so I'm going to have more cilantro soon. And right there next to it, I also have basil, and this plant right here, this basil plant, is going to flower as well, and I am going to let it be because, like I said, the pollinators love it. So when it comes to herbs, cilantro and basil, I plant a lot of it, and I have definitely plenty to harvest, but I also have plenty that I can just let a few plants go to flower, and that benefits the pollinators, which benefits my garden as well. So I have everything planted here already. I gave them a little bit of water, even though I have irrigation there. I don't turn it on as often because it has been raining a lot. So as far as hand watering, I haven't had to do much really. Let me show you what I have in these containers. Really close to each other right here, on each corner of these containers, I have these squash. I'm not even going to attempt to say the name, but that's it. And I definitely have to thin this. I have 4 plants coming up there. I probably should just let 2 of them be. And then the same thing on this side. I have 2 really close to each other. I'll probably have just 1. I have 0 experience with this type, so I don't know how big they get. So I'm just gonna keep it safe, and I'm going to keep 3 plants. Then I have these green beans here that are new for me this year. The variety is this. Oh my gosh, the birds have done a job there. It's red swan bush, and I will say I have about 12 plants there. I think they get pretty big, not quite positive. But over here I have some basil. I direct sow some basil, and you can tell that I have a bunch coming through. That is perfect because, just like I said, I plant basil often so that I always have available when I need it. And on the back of the bed, I have 1, 2 cilantro plants, and I have some mammoth jalapeno plants that I got at Menards. We'll see how big they get. I always get good sized jalapenos. I am not too worried about getting huge jalapenos. And then if we continue towards the back of the second planter, I have another jalapeno plant and a couple more cilantro ones. And that's pretty much how these beds are going to stay for the rest of the season. My hope is that I am going to harvest as much cilantro as possible. And then at some point, they're just going to have to go to flower, and that's fine. The pollinators will definitely appreciate all of the blooms, and I am definitely fine with that. This bed over here, it has a lot of things going on. It has tomatoes, it has squash, has cucamelons, marigolds, basil, lots of herbs, a couple of bell peppers, and some flowers. But what I noticed is that one of my tomato plants it's really getting sick. The leaves on the tomatoes are starting to turn black. Not even yellowish that much, but black. And that is really concerning to me because the other 4 tomato plants next to them are fine. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to remove this plant completely. I'm going to just take it to the trash, and I'm going to plant a cucumber there, something else, because I don't want this to spread to the rest of my tomato plants. And normally I do get tomato plants here and there towards the end of the season that do get sick. I am not one that, sees disease and that gets rid of it right away. But it's really early in the season. It's June. I think that all the extra water, the rainwater that we have been getting, has been definitely affecting this plant especially. So I'm just going to get rid of it. I don't want to deal with it. Even some of the blooms that are forming for the fruit to set are turning black. So I really have no hopes on this plant to get any tomatoes. Okay, so these are the cucumber plants that I'm going to replace there. I have 4 here. I'm going to divide this in 2 so that I can just plant two cucumbers there. So that's all I'm going to do. I don't think that I need to show you that. My neighbor's dogs. I just wanted to bring you along and show you what I'm doing. I know that a lot of you are first-time gardeners and are just learning as you go, just like myself. I have been doing vegetables for 5 years. This will be my 5th season, and I think that things are looking good. Thank you for being here, and until the next time.